Okay, good morning. We are in the middle of Tafish Lamed Zion, the dinim of Sukkah Gzula. So, by the Mechaber in the middle, in Gozel Eitzim Asehen Sukkah. Now, in the case of someone stole Eitzim of Asehen Sukkah, right? Around this time, and in Eretz Yisrael, it's very common to see kids, running around with carts of wood for Lag BaOmer. Whether it's something they have to do. They should be taught to be nizar in as to what they're allowed to take and where they're allowed to take it, because there's shaylas like zela and things. So someone took it from someone else's rishus. They went into their yard. They saw they had they had a pile of wood, and they went and they took also and sukkah avavishlo chibran. You said, okay, no, I'm just borrowing it. I'm gonna put the zip ties and things, or whatever, and it's gonna be fine. Yatsa, you are yatsa. Takanas lacham she'en lebal eitzim el demei eitzim bilvad. Because there's a takana, even if you nailed it in, whatever, the reason your yotze is it's metaltal, even your yotze is because of the idea of takanas hashavim. That if a person would steals a beam of wood and builds it into his building, right, and then the person comes and says it's a Gemara, says, hey, that's my piece of wood. You have to tear down your garage, and I need and then give me back my wood. Even if it's a whole piece of wood, we say that you don't have to do that because it's kind of shaving, because we want this guy to go ahead and do tshuva. And if you're going to make Hashavas like Zela is going to be too hard for him to do. So then Chazal made a takana that he wants to be yotze. He just pays for the wood, and that's it. Because otherwise, you're gonna have gazlanim and people who get caught up in stealing and I don't know what, and they're suddenly gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to tear the house down, whatever. Forget it. They're not gonna do tshuva. So Chazal said, because it's Hashav, you can pay money, and therefore it's sort of a kinyan, and it's not considered a sukkah gzula. When Gazel Sukkah Hasuya Barosh Asfina Barosh Agala, we mentioned this before. If he went ahead and he had a pickup truck with a sukkah in the back, and you go and run off with the car, right? V'shashav Babil Yalza, or you just go ahead and you go ahead and you sit in it, even without stealing the car. Let's say you just go sit in it. So this is where the mute of l'cha comes into play, and you have to ask for, and therefore you have to ask for shus. So you can't just go ahead and sit in it and take it or something like that, because that would be also hagav when you won't be yotze your mitzvah. Hagav hu adin in Ruvain bana sukkah b'karka shimon. Let's say we have two neighbors. Ruvain decides he's going to go ahead and he says, well, Shimon's not using his property anyway, and even Shimon's away, I don't know, whatever it is, the first day Sukkot. So he builds a Sukkah on Shimon's property, but Shimon took off his Ruvain. So Shimon came back, saw Ruvain, came back after Yom Tov, saw Ruvain sitting in the Sukkah on his property, took off his Ruvain, picked him up, threw him out, the Gazel Sukkah so B'duya B'karka Shalo, and he threw him out of the Sukkah and said, okay, thank you for the Sukkah, I'm gonna sit in it. Lo Yatzabah. This is a Peladik Ramah. That Shimon, even though it's on his property, and Ruvain built a sukkah on Shimon's property below Rishus, if Shimon goes ahead and throws Ruvain out and uses the sukkah, lo yatzabah, he's not yotze. Because we say karka ain't in exelis. The reason why sukkah gzula, you go sit in someone's sukkah without Rishus, you're yotze because karka ain't in exelis. But in this case, the karka is yours already. Right? The karka belongs to Shimon already. So therefore, he's just sitting in the sukkah, which then has a din like Barosh Agala, and therefore he's not yotze. Whether he's allowed to knock it down, maybe he's allowed to knock it down and out of his property and take it out. Fine, that might be. But to sit in the sukkah, he's not yotze.
If he knocks down the sukkah, then rebuilds it, then there would be a takan sashavim.
Right. The reason why there's a takan sashavim is because he wasn't tareach he didn't build it and he wasn't tereach lahutzi hotos. So he said, "What? Just let him have the sukkah, whatever." So then, you're right. If he would go ahead and knock it down and rebuild it, so then we would say takanas hashavim enechanami. Nafesh lamed ches. Atzei sukkah asurim kol shmonas yimei achag. Any wood from the sukkah is also the whole shmonas yimei achag. Bein atzei defanos, bein atzei schach. Whether you want to use the schach for something else or you want to use atzei defanos, I feel kesa and lasas vashinav also. Even if you want to take a little piece of wood to as a toothpick, it's also ulcer. And you can't go ahead and use it for anything else, because the reason is the pasuk says Chag Sukkos Shivas Yamim LaShem, and is Chal Shem Hashem on the sukkah, and it's kadosh. Even though there's no make a bracha on the sukkah, but once you made the sukkah and you sit in the sukkah, then it's chal a kedusha to the sukkah, and it's also to go ahead and it's like kotchev. It's also to go ahead and use anything from it. It's not because people think that it's muktzah, that I can't touch it, I can't shake it, I can't move it. We'll see about the decorations. Don't even touch the decoration. No, it's muktzah. It's not like that. It's muktzah lemitzvaso, and therefore you are allowed to. You're not allowed to use it for something else, but you are allowed to move stuff. And why shmonas yamim even in Eretz Yisrael? If they kol shmonas yamim mipnei sheyom hashvish kulo asukah muktzah aben hashmashos. Right? You can't. Enechanami by the end of Hoshana Rabbah, it would be in Eretz Yisrael. Pasha in the Chutzar, it's Pasha because of Safek Yom, Shmini Atzeres, so you still sit in the Sukkah. But even there, it's well, since you're not nichnas into Bein Hashmashos, with the Isser with the Kedusha on the Sukkah, of all Hukso Bein Hashmashos, Shel Shvi Hukso L'chol Yom, and that's this on Shmini Atzeres, there is a din of muksa, the enechanami. Then it would be also to go ahead and move stuff around because it's muksa. Not that it's it has kedusha, but it's regular muktzah. Hagav afilu nafla sukkah asurim. Even if the sukkah falls down, you can't go ahead and use it for other things. Hani but tanai, nor does a tanai work. Nor does a tanai work to say any bodel like by muktzah. You want to go ahead and say, well, I want to use this rock, whatever it is. It doesn't work. Aval eitzim asmuch in the sukkah muteres. But let's say you have wood which is not an ikar part of the sukkah, and it's leaning against the wall or whatever the reason, whatever thing is, that is muteres, it's not an ikar part of the sukkah. Now, but really, they're only talking about the Hashem is only the shear of gimel tfanos line al zayin. Nishlam hechsher sukkah v'hoisif doifin. Let's say you have 3 and a tefach, 3 and zayin, whatever it is, and you add a 4th wall. Lo mitzvah, that 4th wall doesn't become ulcer because the ikar kedusha is chal on the main sukkah. Well, you also arbat and stam, but if you went ahead and built a chachila, you built 4 walls. That's how you made the sukkah. Kula serves some muktzos because that's your sukkah. If you went ahead and built 3 walls, and then during the Chag, let's say, or whatever, you decide to add a 4th wall, that 4th wall is mutter because that's not the kedusha wasn't chal on it.
And talking about even if it's a giant sukkah, not just
right. Right. When a person sits in the sukkah, then it's kedusha chal on the sukkah. You built the sukkah. Let's say you went away for the first day Yom Tov, and after Yom Tov he came back, and he decides that he wants to, forget it. I'll use a different sukkah. He decides to use the 18. That's okay. Lo nasra, because he didn't sit in it, so it doesn't have a din of sukkah's mitzvah. Hazmana lav milsa, the general call in Shas and is that hazmana lav milsa. So therefore, you have to actually use it for it to be chal kedusha. And if someone that says that if someone, which Bur brings down, if someone built a sukkah that we said before on the year before, and he just left it up, So first of all, we said that you have to go ahead and lift the schach. Since right after Sukkah, it's batul shem Sukkah. Hu adin, you can't. It's not the eitzim. You can during the year you can use the eitzim for something else, because until you and the next Sukkah, it doesn't become ulcer until the next Sukkah, because each new Chag is Chal new Kedusha, so therefore you'd have to go ahead and sit in it. The next Sukkah is to go ahead and to make it ulcer again. Right. Sif Beis, V'chein Ochlim Mamashkim Shetolim B'Sukkah. So let's say you go ahead and there is, I've seen people do this. There's an Indian to b'toila shiva saminim from the Sukkah nowadays. We use plastic grapes, but there is an Indian that people could use real grapes, or you can hang a bag of flour. I don't know how nice it is, but you can hang flour, wheat stalks, anything like that. Shemen zayis leila noisa. If you have ochel mashkim, you have it there to go ahead and make it look beautiful. Also, li stapik behen. You can't go ahead and let's say you have a nice bottle of wine and a fancy thing, you hang it on the thing on your sukkah, make it nice, and you realize that you don't have what to make kiddush. It's also the stafik behem kol shmona. You can't use any of that wine for kol shmona. I feel naflo. Even if these things fell on the floor, they still have a din kedusha. But Yom Tov and Shabbos also the taltal the muktzim heim, and again, a Yom Tov and Shabbos, because v'nishmashos, so you can't use it, so therefore it's even chalad in muktzah, and you're not allowed to metaltal them. V'im hisna aleim b'shah shetalim, but if you made it tonight on the food, when you hung it, when you made it, put it up for the decoration, or any boil mehem kol v'nishmashos shel shmonas yomim, you say I'm not boil from any of the v'nishmashos of all 8 days. Then you could go ahead and use it whenever you want. Because then it's not huksal mitzvasam, and there's no chalois kedusha. He said that all ben hashmashos for all the sukkahs. However, if he says that I'm not going to make a tanai, that if they fall down, no, I'm just going to eat it. Ain't no klum. Why? Because there's a din. It's more about down in the Dharam, I think in Taflam, it's something around there, that a person, that those just thing is pakap kedusha bichti. It's a din that kedusha, once it's halal kedusha, whether it's bitam neder, whether it's bitam mitzvah, whether it's bitam whatever, it doesn't just leave. You can't just make a tanai and say, for example, I'm making a neder on something. I make a neder not to eat something or makdish something, but I'll say I'll deny that in 2 days it's gonna be I'm gonna use it. So it doesn't work, because kedusha doesn't go once something's kaddish, it doesn't go away. But sukkahs after the chag goes away. But stam to make a t'nai, it doesn't work unless you make a t'nai that there's no chalois kedusha. And then that will work. If someone says, I make it tonight, I'm going to eat them whenever I want, mahani, shigam ben hashmashos bichlal, if he says that's also fine, because the whole zman masa sheyirtze includes ben hashmashos. So tonight called him ben hashmashos, harishon, you have to do it before Yom Tov Rishon. Because then you stop the chalois. Once even though it's only chal when you sit in it, but the noi will be kosher, will have a din of the schach, and so it would have a sukkah's teishu shivas yamim. You can't. I don't know, why can't you make it tonight before you sit in it if you haven't sat in it? I don't know. It's a question. I don't know. But al kolpanim, you have to do it before Yom Tov Rishon. Yishmin Achronim Shekasut V'Zman Hazeh Ein Nogin La'asnois. Rabbi says we don't play games. The minig is not to make tanoim, you want to hang up wine, very nice. Don't eat it. Hachi Nog B'Noim Atchulim B'Schach. But that's Nog by Noi, which is hanging from the Schach. But Noi Sukkah, if you hang it on the walls, you could go in Sardinia and Tiara and you put up like nice tapestries. You're allowed to go ahead and bring them inside because of the rain, afilu below tonight. It's only where we say the real isser is only. Some say the real isser is only by the schach, but by the tefanos, there's no really. There's no chalos kedusha. There are shitas like that. So therefore, kol shekein benoyim, kol shekein that for noy sukkah it's not chal kedusha. Even though there are many. There are many Achronim who are mefakrik in this, and therefore even the Defanos it's best not to. And even the Ramah says the Kol Makom Tov the Hasas Aleim, it's still better to make a T'nai to go ahead and to take to go ahead if you go ahead and you take them out. So we say that Chachila it's better to make a Tanai, you can take it out. If it rains, you can take it out of the Sukkah. Because once you take it out of the Sukkah, it's part of the Sukkah. You can't. How can you take it out? But you choshish for Ganavi, you choshish for Nezik. So Lamaisa you are allowed to, but it's better to go ahead and to make a Tanai. You just have to be sure. If you do take it out, you have to be sure you don't use it in any way, shape, or form. Let's say you hang a bunch of esrogim. Even though generally esrogim it's also to go ahead and to smell it during Sukkot, but these that you have and these you put up for noi, and then you want to go ahead and even though like maybe it's like that you think it's like the esrog it's muktzah mitzvasa. Esrogim you hung for noi are not and even though by esrog for Arbor meaning it's also it's also to smell it, but these esrogim is mutter to smell them. Below huksa mereach, it's not muksa for reach. The point is that you shouldn't take it. The also betiltul or right you can't take it to use. And some say by hadas it is also because the whole point of esrogim is really the main thing of esrogim is to eat, even though we don't usually eat esrogim nowadays, but it's still food. But hadassim is only there for birchos, only for reach, so that could be that's used. So that's the point of that's the noy of the sukkah is that you're making a nice smell. So therefore, that could be is huksa to the sukkah.
So is it tiltul is all day?
So that's I'm not sure. Pashtus no, because I don't know why the lashon of the lashon of Ramah is a little bit misleading, right? No, because we know for sure it's only din muksa. Achshon is very fair. It's only din actual muksa. It means it din tiltul. You're not allowed to. You cannot to take it and move it out. I'm not sure. I'm going to look that up because I realize it's a little bit unclear.
And it says that by the hadas, but not by Esther. That means Esther that's hanging for
the schach, yeah.
For the schach, but not the Esther that you use.
No, not the Esther you use for the mitzvah. Only talking about you hang it for the schach. That there for the ikers, the achila makes it look nice, but not the smell. Okay, Tafish Lametes. Now we finished making the sukkah. We get into Hilchos Yeshivas Sukkah. So Aleph, see if we can get through Aleph. Ketzah mitzvah Yeshiva Sukkah. What is mitzvah of Yeshiva Sukkah? So Shaya Eichel v'Shoiseh. The ikar is the person eats and drinks. Yoshenu Matayel. I don't know if the Mechaber is cholik on sleeping in the sukkah. I can't imagine he is, but the Akopanim, the Ramah adds in Yoshem v'Matayo that also could be a shayla. Would you make a shayla of a bracha on it? Umatayo, and this we've had before. Like Miller pointed out throughout Orach Chaim, the Mechaber does not like this idea of tiyul, of just stam wasting time, whatever. He doesn't like the idea of a person wasting time. Just but al kolpanim, if a person, if he wants to play games with his kids, read things like that, even though yes, you should do ma'aseh oichel b'shois, you should learn, and we'll see about learning. But al kolpanim, you want to just shmooze with someone to spend some time. It really should be done in the sukkah. V'dar b'sukkah kol shivas yamin. Really, you should be living in the sukkah. Shivas Yomi, not Bim Yomi Velayla. Kederch Shu Dar Bebeisa V'Shayim Hashanah. It's not the pshat that okay, sukkah is we have a sukkah. That's if you want to eat. So you go into the sukkah. That's the dinner. That's what the sukkah is there for. So you want to go ahead and eat something. That's not the pshat. The point of the sukkah is to be there. She was yelling to live in it like your house, and therefore, a person comes home after Tiyul and he needs to, he's exhausted, whatever. He wants to just sit down. He should go into the sukkah and go to his sukkah, not to his house. Go to his sukkah and sit down over there and not go to his house. Ketzad, again, his base of his house is arai and his sukkah is keva. Ketzad kelim anoyim matzos anos for sukkah. You should bring your nice thing. Let's say you have a big sukkah and you have beds and you have a nice stuff. You should put your nice things. If you have a little vitrina, that's very nice. You put your nice stuff there, and you should make it look nice. Uchlishtia, and you have nice cups. You have a bottle and things, whatever. You should use the nice ones if that's what you use. If you normally use chad pami, meaning you use disposables, I don't think there's any problem with that. If that's what you do the regular year round. There's other cheshbonos and your wife's cheshbon of making her schlep down the dishes and stuff, whatever. It also could be part of a cheshbon. If it doesn't make such a difference, clearly you should use the nice stuff. But kli achila, achar achila, if you have dirty dishes after you eat, like you have pots and things or whatever, you should keep it outside the sukkah. That as long as you don't do a tashmish, we'll see tashmish bazri in a second. Woman should light nevis in the sukkah. Put a light in the sukkah, unless of course there's a chashash of a small sukkah, you have a choshesh for fire hazard. Right, that you should leave it outside. Hagava al yasa shum tashish bazri b'sukkah eisho mitzvahs v'zuyas alav. Should not do any tashmish bazri in the sukkah, like washing dishes and whatever different things like that. The place can say that mitzvahs oina is not chas v'shalom is not tashmish bazri. For care, we'll see that it's there is a shiloh. We'll see of teishuv kekzuro. We'll see that in the next sif. But al kopanim, and also it's interesting. The kudav. Let's say you have dofen akuma. Are you allowed to go ahead and put your dirty dishes over there under the dofen akuma? And so a lot of places can say, say that would be okay because that's it's called like if let's say you had a hole in the wall, you stick it in the hole in the wall. That seems to be okay. However, if it's that's if you, but Akopanim place can say that if it's in the three main walls, that's only if you have an extra wall. But if it's in the three main walls, Alpha Pikain, the walls also have a din kedusha, so therefore you shouldn't, even though it's skilled, you're sticking it inside the wall, you shouldn't go ahead and put it there. Stop here. We get into the complex halachas about eating and drinking.